Good afternoon, everybody. Well, at least it's afternoon here. If this is typical of any of the other broadcasts, any of the other events that we've done, then we've got people where it's early in the morning. We've got people where it's late at night. And if you're in anywhere where it's either of those, thank you for taking the time to come out. Actually, thank you everybody for taking the time to jump on this. Tried out a new feature this week. I'm just curious. Mention in the comments if you saw this. A little pop-up that pops up in the Mago UI announcing the next webinar. That way, you kind of get a good indication that they're coming. That it's easier to not miss this, because I think initially when people sign up, they get invited to a couple of these, but not many people are going through the process to kind of sign up for future ones. I know. Certainly, I've got webinars scheduled through the end of the year, and I'm going to start scheduling more. Kind of trying to make this whole process a little easier. The good news using Webinar Ninja, it's been a good platform. I really like this question and answer feature. By the way, if you're on right now, if you have a question, right below the video, kind of right down here, you can ask a question. You can put a question in here. And the really nice thing about the way this feature works is you ask your question, and as I go in, I click to indicate that I'm beginning to answer the question. And so if you're watching the replay, you can start and jump directly to the answers to specific questions rather than having to sit through the entire webinar trying to fast forward or not, because really, if you're looking at my smiling face, it's going to look pretty much the same all the way through. Wayne, I'll get the emails in there as well. I'll start doing that. I just don't want to spam people with too many emails just yet. Always trying to find that balance. Me myself, I don't send much email regularly. I know other people do, so it's a real case of that. One other big announcement. I want to show you this really quick. I've been really trying to figure out the best way to kind of make requests visible, to prioritize requests and things like that. Early in the beta process, it was pretty easy. There was a very small number of users getting feedback and kind of collecting that and collating that was pretty easy. But now that we've launched, we've got a lot of people using that. We got a lot of great ideas coming in. It's getting to a point where some of them are getting a little bit buried, and I really don't want to see that. I want to truly kind of democratize this whole process, because Mago truly is what I would call a version 1.0 product. In other words, there's a lot of really great stuff, a lot of really powerful stuff in there, but what you're seeing is just the beginning. And everybody who's using Mago right now, you're in a very unique position that your requests are going to shape a lot of the future. It's extremely rare that if you're using any kind of software product that you can communicate directly with the developers, directly with anybody really, and say, hey, it'd be really nice if it did this, and have somebody go and actually add that in there as a feature. As companies grow, that's it's just not possible to do this. But early on, everybody who took that leap of faith, who's in the ground floor, not only do you get Mago right now and everything that it does, you have the opportunity to really not just use the software, but build the booking system of your dreams. So if there's something that it's not doing, there's this opportunity to go and ask to do these things. So let me show you this really quick. I'm going to do a screen share and switch over. Let me log in though in a test account. Actually, there we go. We'll get logged into here. We'll kick off the screen share. I'll pick a specific window. There we go. And I'm going to make that full screen. Everybody can see this. So really right here is this pop-out. And the process here essentially is I found this tool. I think it's worth trying out. We might go a different direction. Who knows? But the idea is if you've got an idea, if you've got a feature request, something like that, you can simply click, give the feature a name, like a subject. I'm just trying to think of a couple that different people have asked for in the process. So you give it a name, and I don't know if you noticed this here on the right. As I was typing, it's searching for other items in the other items in the list, because the kind of key of this is you can create a request if you have a specific problem or you have a question. You can create these as well, and but we'll just start with a feature request. If you want to see a feature added to Mago, here's an example: create drop-down item from news screens. You can put that in there, enter your email, and you can put, if you want, you can add a screenshot. In fact, this tool right now, you can even highlight an area on the screen you can highlight an area of the screen that you want to use as a screenshot. Submit that. Actually, I'm not going to highlight that because that's not going to help anything. Put my email in here. This way I get notifications as things are developed, as things are released. But you can add a screenshot if there's anything you want to show me, especially if you have some kind of problem or there's something. Sometimes they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Every now and again, I get a bug ticket come in that or support ticket come in, and I truly don't understand what's being said. But this idea of being able to kind of ask the question and put things in here, this is a nice little feature. You can take a picture, and then it suddenly becomes very clear exactly what's going on. So I'll go through some of the caveats in a minute, but the idea here, you give the feature a name. If it's something that you want to see, an idea for an improvement, for a new feature, you can mark it as an idea. If something isn't working quite right, let me give you a perfect example. There's a situation where some people are creating documents, and they see it as maybe a problem that the date's not coming up in the format that they want. So that might be considered a problem. Maybe just a question: how do I change the date format? So there's an answer to all those questions. But if it's a feature you'd like added, call it an idea. If it's a problem that you're running into, mark it as a problem. If it's a question, make it as a question. There's also a feature for private, but I'd like to keep using the support tickets for that, for keeping track of that work, because I can also assign that to people. Excuse me, getting over a little bit of something, I don't know what. But we'll submit this as a feature, and this kind of goes into the list. Now I want to talk through another scenario here with this feedback tool. So if you're in here and you have an idea, you want to maybe submit a new feature. We call this, excuse me, maybe add tags while creating. Well, the suggestions pops up. Hey, here's one that already exists. If that's the situation, there's one that already exists. Instead of creating it again, instead of duplicating it, this is your opportunity to go in here and vote and say, I want to vote for this feature. I think it's kind of a hey, this would be valuable to me too. This would be important to me as well. And so we can go in there. People can vote for these, and this is really going to help make it very clear, where I should spend my time, where it's worth investing, money and additional coders to make sure that they're building things that are really going to be valuable to you. That's kind of the key. I love this idea of having a real conversation with everybody, and because we're all kind of in on this together. So it's a great idea to try to get people in here. The other thing that I would just add in here, on this front. Is just make sure we got some. Okay, we'll look into these as well. Just like make sure we got the questions here. But the main thing here, it's an opportunity to have a question. It's an opportunity to vote for features you want. I've just put 2 in there, just trying this out. This is not necessarily going to replace a user community like a Facebook group, but certainly the goal here is to give everybody kind of equal votes for features they would find valuable. Other things you're going to see more of are polls for example, very hot on the development pipeline coming towards the end of January are agency features, being able to book other performers, being able to actually act as an agent in some situations where you're not booking yourself at all, you're just booking other people. What I'm trying to do is find people who are doing this frequently, doing this often, and getting your feedback on what these features would look like. So definitely do take. In fact, I put a poll here in the webinar, and so I'm going to be making a lot more use of this, and hopefully just really amping up this conversation, because I want to see more people in the webinars each week. I don't want to see people getting lost. I don't want you to be frustrated. And if you see something, I want to be able to give you more visible feedback as things are developing. So I'll jump back over here for a minute and just go through a couple quick questions. First question. Yes, the email blast. I mentioned this briefly on the last call. Just with the onboarding process. There's 2 different onboarding processes that have been taking up a lot of my time. One, just helping people who are signing up, getting everything set up, getting imports in place and things like that. Just making sure that you've got all the support you need to do that. But also bringing on additional team members to Mago in the company to start doing some of these things and freeing up some of my time to be doing coding. So as a result, the onboarding process for the staff has taken a little bit longer than I'd anticipated, and so as a result, I've had less time to really go through the final testing and everything for the email blast. That is definitely coming as a very popular and frequently requested feature. So just because because I got a little surprised at how long some of the other things were going to take. I don't want to give a date too firm yet, but I do know absolutely with where things are at and where everything else is at, that we will absolutely see the email blast in the next 2 weeks. We're really kind of just coming into the testing phase. The biggest thing I want to make sure with that, of course, is making sure that email is getting into the inbox, and that the process is very reliable, right? That nothing is going to, there's not going to be any little surprises in there, so you can't accidentally send an email that your links are going to work, all these different things. So running through those test cases and making sure everything is good. And in the spirit of what's the expression? Eating our own dog food. I'll send a notification out to everybody through that feature to let you know that feature is live, along with some of the other announcements that are coming up as well. I want to try to keep the email announcements to maybe 1 a month if you're interested, and we'll kind of go through that process as well. But just to let you know that of what's coming. The other. Well, let's take a little look here, because the search feature, the way that it works, it really does search all the features. In fact, if I jump back and share my screen again, there we go. We'll jump back here. We're going to jump into Mago. And if we create. Now we'll just create a new company. We'll call this Ducci's Abilene. That's in, oh, there's in Abilene, Texas. Well, we'll just go with that. Carducci's and other. I'm probably going to spell this wrong, so I'm going to cheat. I'm going to copy and paste. So we've got 123 Main Street, Abilene. Abilene, Texas. I know there's an Abilene in Australia, but we'll just put that in there. Testing this out. So saving that, kind of going through that process, that's been created. So if I paste this in the search, I'm just curious if this is, yeah, so this is matching. It's matching under the location. It will match on name as well. So trying to figure out what might be happening here if you're not getting the results. One is that if you've got a lot of companies, these do page, so it only shows by default 10 at a time, so you can increase that, or you can use the previous next. These are all sortable as well. So if you've got multiple results, you could sort by the location. All these are, so you can sort that way and kind of look at the subset. If you're definitely still having problems with that, then let me know, and we'll try to dig a little deeper into why that is. But the way the search works, essentially, every field in the record does get is included in the index, and there's only a few situations. There are certain words, just because of their nature, they might not get indexed. In fact, if I look for the word "and," I believe "and" is considered what they call a noise word, because it really isn't going to narrow it down very much if you're searching a lot of text. So certain words, if, and, the, I, a, these are all noise words. They won't show up, but Abilene certainly should work. So let me know. Let me know if that helps, Kylie. And if you're still running the problems, shoot me a support ticket. We'll try to dig down. I just want to make sure that that's not really the case, because like I said, just in my quick test, it is working, but I do want to make sure that there's not anything weird about any records in your database there. So we'll try that out. Let me know. Another quick one from Todd. Hey, Todd. 2 words in quotations or not? That's a good question. Let me come back to that, Mark, here in just a second. Real quick on the online PayPal link. They can't go back. This is a great candidate right now. Right now the way to go back to have somebody able to select a package again. The way the whole process works as they're booking online, when they select a package, it goes and calculates fee and whatnot, fee and deposit, and sends you a notification, and then it takes them to the payment page. At that point, because there's a fee in that box, you can go and the system knows that, okay, we've got an agreed fee. Now all that's left is we've got an agreed fee, so now all that's left is the payment process, if that makes sense. All that's left is the payment process. But if you delete the fee, then it knows that you haven't picked a package yet, and it goes to the show option page. So that's one way to go back, but it's not something the user can do right away. The other thing that's kind of interesting in that is the way that the deposit is calculated. If you give a deposit percentage, it's going to calculate that, but it's going to defer to whatever's in the deposit field already. So if you've got a deposit, if you take a fixed price deposit, or you don't take a deposit at all, just put a 0 in that deposit field, and then it knows to only update the fee field. But if you remove the value from the fee, it's essentially it's undoing that step. Now that answers kind of part of the question. Specifically, Todd, you're asking if it's possible for a user to immediately click back and change their mind. And right now, there's not a way to do that. So this would be a perfect opportunity to add that into the little feedback feature. to essentially, in fact, we could just do this. I'll go in here and on the home page. By the way, this is also worth mentioning on the phone. This feature, let me get that closed, is only available on the dashboard. I just didn't want to get that in the way everywhere. But I might put that everywhere if you think it'd be better, especially because we've got that screenshot feature. So maybe we do put this everywhere. So under the ideas here, I can start typing in online payment back. So I could put that in there. I could put your email in there, Todd, if you wanted. You could go and actually update this a little later on. So I'll just put me in here for now. But I can submit that as an idea. Oh, yeah. I could submit that as a feature request, and then other people again can go and vote on that. So yeah, we've already got votes in here. This is great. Thank you for participating in Mago democracy. The other thing I want to try. I'm honestly not sure if the quoted string will work. Because right now, if you put 2 words in there, it's going to, the way that it works, it's going to search for both of them, and then it's going to rank everything based on a score. But if I put birthday bash in there, here's the real test. It does appear to work. Here's the real test. Let me go into here, by the way, and mark this as. So let's try this big. If I type in big birthday bash, it should match on any of these. We got birthday bash, big birthday bash. It's going to match on big or birthday or bash. So if we quote this, it should only match on one. Okay. And yeah, so that's so it's not doing quoted literal strings right there. So that I can look at adding some capabilities to that, Mark, certainly. In fact, that would be a good one for the ideas list. Just kind of improving the search. So specifically, I think there's a lot of things we could do with the search and improving it in terms of being able to do like a radius search. Give me everything that's within X miles of a postcode or a city or anything like that. And I have a gig, and I want to add a second contact. Yes, radius search. All right. Oh, do me a favor. Put that in the list, so we can start kind of keep you posted on these and get other folks in there, because I think a lot of people want that feature, and having people see that, getting people to get behind that, I think would be really valuable. On the company contact, let's see what's going on. So you've got a gig. You want to add a second contact. So let's see. I've got a gig, and I want to add a second contact. Tell me if I'm missing anything. So, Mark, go through. I've got a gig. I want to add a second contact. So I'm going to click here to create one. Is that right? And then I assume as I'm in here, we've got first name, Magic Mike. Why not? The company. So I can start typing in here, Carducci. But it's when you're going through this process again. Is that right? So if we go through and add another contact. I think I'm missing a step. Because both of those. I think I'm missing a step in here, Mark. Let me know what I'm missing, because kind of going through this process, maybe you're going through here, over there on the left and on the right. Well, we'll keep talking on that. We'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. Hit the plus button. Okay. Hit plus button. Okay, plus button to create a new company first. Oh, create a new company. Got it. Okay, got it. So you're in here. Thank you. So I was missing a step. So we'll call this other Mike 2. And so we're going to create the company. And I'm going to say company, whatever. Yep. Put that in there. So we go through there. And so that's auto-filled it. So I've created the company, and it's auto-filled this, so I don't really need to do anything. I mean, I can start typing in here and select it, but that's already populated, so we can kind of go either way. And then I save that, so we've got that there. And then and then let's see. I cannot type. I hit the plus sign. I cannot type company. Oh, that's not what I intended to do there. Okay, yeah. Let me know, Mark. Also, other details that might be relevant. If you send a ticket my way, other details that might be relevant might be, like what browser you're using. Sometimes certain browsers behave differently than others. I try to test in everything, so I do a lot of development and testing in Internet Explorer and Firefox. I do some in Safari, a lot in Chrome. I use Chrome every day primarily, just because Chrome, in my experience, spending a lot of time as a web developer building different things for different platforms, I found Chrome in general is one of the most consistent browsers out there. They actually, Chrome has a lot of features that other browsers aren't implementing yet, but beyond that, Chrome just seems to be fairly reliable in terms of how they implement kind of agreed standards and stuff like that. That there are things and that there are standards out there that everybody agrees on. Okay, this is how the web is gonna work, and Chrome says, okay, we're gonna build this. Firefox might be right behind, Safari might be way behind, and Internet Explorer is a roll of the dice. Internet Explorer historically has been the most problematic. Maybe one of the reasons Chrome is so consistent is Chrome by default updates itself all the time. So every time you open Chrome, there's a new version of Chrome. It just downloads and updates it for you, and you don't even see it anymore. Whereas IE, if you had IE6, there are people who are using IE6 for 12 years and never updated, and that was always problematic as a software developer, because now you had to always target the lowest common denominator. You couldn't just build something that would work for all the modern browsers. You said, well, what about all these people who are still using IE6? And so you had to figure out all these different ways to work around these problems. So let me know. And then Todd, you saw that. Just want to make sure, Todd, you saw the email blasts. I think we talked about that. I've got that. I don't know if you intended to add that twice, but I think that was the first question. But hopefully that kind of keeps you up to date with where all that is. Some other questions that came in. Let me see if I can find these. These actually went into my email. I don't know if I got an email with some questions for the webinar, and a lot of them I think are just feature requests. But I'll just run into these. One of the fields is country. Look up everybody in Ventura County, or county, sorry. One of the fields is county, so look everybody up in Ventura County. Certainly if you've got county as a field, and that's going to be indexed, that's going to be indexed in there. So if you type in Ventura, in the search, it's gonna find everything that matches on that if that's in the thing as well. You can do the same thing with a city. That will work. The so that will work for other things as long as you're consistent in how you name things. If you search for Los Angeles and in the city you have LA, it's not going to match on that. So that's just a consideration to think about. But the radius searching that we were talking about, that would be valuable as well. Another feature request, I think, is if you're doing a company lookup, and I agree, I think this is a great idea. I'd love to see this on the list. Is that if you're doing a search, a lot of people, or at least a few people I know, run into situations where they've got a lot of duplicate companies. So we were talking just a moment ago about that particular feature that we can search for a company. So if I go in here and we've got a company in here and I start to search for the company, somebody might type in Washington Elementary School or middle school even. Anything like that. A lot of these, you're going to get a lot of matches on this. I don't think in this test database we have too many duplicated names, but you end up with a lot of companies with very similar or identical names without any real ability to differentiate. So I think that would be a feature request for the ability to maybe add some differentiating ability. Yeah, church is the same thing. Same thing to put that in there. To have a differentiating field so you can see maybe the city, maybe you could see some other information. So certainly, that would be a good feature request, and I'd love to add that to the list. It doesn't matter if you've got duplicate names, as long as because internally everything is tracked by an ID. Otherwise, you'd run into chaos as soon as you started changing names. One question that comes up a lot, I've got one here in the email under booked income and pipeline. Essentially, I think I'm going to rename this because it does create a little bit of confusion to actually put the year into here. Under booked income, as a kind of high level metric, it just gives you an idea of what your year looks like. Whatever your goals are for the year, you can look at it and very quickly see if you're on target and not on target. Each one of these bars represents an individual month, so you can kind of see. You can kind of hover over and see, and once you've got a year's worth of data, you get a bar for every month of the year, see how each month is doing. One of the challenges I think where some of the confusion goes in is we've got these numbers and somebody says, okay, well, I'm going to go create a lead right now, and I'm going to say that on the financials, I'm going to put here $50,000 for the lead with a $25,000 deposit, and this is going to be a show that's in just a couple weeks' time. So they go put that in there, they click save, and they look over the booked income. It still says $4,000. It's nothing else in the pipeline. So they refresh, still nothing else in the pipeline. The reason is this is just the current calendar year. So otherwise, if we just put everything in there, once you've been using Mago for a while, once you started using Mago for a couple of years, your booked income is gonna have some meaningless number, $500,000, $600,000, which really isn't telling you anything. That doesn't give you much of an idea. So this is kind of just a feature for the year, and so anything you add for 2017 isn't going to appear yet for a couple more weeks. Booked income, everything that does appear or has appeared in your upcoming gigs. Booked gigs that are coming up or gigs that are in the past for the current year. Under active leads, everything that is active leads includes everything for the current year. Our total pipeline includes all your bookings, all your gigs, and leads for the current year to kind of give you a best case scenario. So when you take something, if you convert a lead to an active, then it's going to take that out of your pipeline. So that's kind of the process there. Let me jump back and see the other questions I've got here. Yeah, really open to feedback on this. One of the questions I had is that this kind of new gig pop-up, is this, should we put all the fields in there? Part of it is, part of the idea, the goal was kind of just quick data entry. Didn't want to overwhelm you with fields. Part of it was, so just to kind of give you the core stuff, but everybody's using the gig fields differently. So I guess that's a question out to the group. Would you find that useful to have every single field in this new gig pop-up, or would maybe it make sense to have like a quick pop-up and a full create form? So I'd love to get some feedback on that. And I think, again, having this form, people can vote on different options. There's a lot of value in there. Same thing, another idea that's come through, removing fields from a view and edit mode. I'd love to get some feedback on that. And then another one is asking about gig ID. That's kind of maybe an external tracking ID that you can use. So the gig ID field that you see, that might be, linking it back to another lead source, or another lead source, or another thing. So there's a gig ID field in Mago. I'll give you an example. What I tend to put in there is my gig master's gig ID, so I can kind of link these back. But you can call it other things. Other people use it for quote numbers and things like that. But it's not part of how all the records are linked anywhere in the system. So. But that kind of goes through all the questions that I've got for today, all the questions that are in the open questions. Here we go. Phone app, the phone app is actually starting to look kind of cool. Yeah, let me add this and start answering this. The phone app is actually starting to look pretty cool. I just signed a contract with a company. One of the things that I've been struggling with as a feature that I really want to add in is to be able to go in with the phone app and take a picture of a business card and get that into Mago. So somebody hands you your business card, take a picture of it, it goes into Mago, and that's done. The real challenge with that, the ability to for a computer to read text has been around for a very long time, for decades now. Computers have gotten better and better at reading text. They're not perfect. There's problems with that. Where it really becomes challenging is that there's no set format for a business card. You want to pull out name, you want to pull out the company name, you want to pull out the work phone number, the cell phone number, etc. But for a computer to know which is which is a really difficult problem to solve. And I found a company that they have a tool that we can actually send it off, take pictures, send it off to their servers. They've got some kind of process that goes with it, and actually other services of theirs that you're going to start seeing in the Mago that are really exciting is some of the data enrichment. So you've got a company and you've got limited information. You can get a full profile and even update the record based on kind of getting data from their services. So that's pretty exciting there as well. Going back, Mark, so just to touch on that feedback tool again, very briefly. It'll be in the replay. It'll be easy to kind of go through it more in depth, but you're going to start seeing this on different pages. Let me share my screen. Do a screen sharing. I'll switch over to here. If you look on the dashboard right now on the right, there's a little tab where you can click on and click leave feedback. And clicking that allows you to submit an idea, submit a problem. If you've got a question, you can ask a question. And the other nice thing is here on the questions, if somebody asks a specific question, like how do I do this, how do I do that, really nice little feature in here is you can go through and search the questions as well. So you can go through and as you're asking the questions, it starts suggesting questions that people have asked, and so they can click on there. It takes them into the system, in the little forum here under the questions. You can search. You can have a discussion around that as well. For that, you've got to create a little account on this site to actually have the conversation. But to be able to submit your ideas, to ask questions. Yeah, perfect. So we've got things in there. This is great. Actually, we're already getting some things in here. But the really nice thing as we go through the process here in Mago, as I'm writing something, maybe you want to create tags. You can see as I start typing, suggestions pop up. And so every now and again, you can say, oh, that was what I was going to ask. Okay, I'm just going to click vote here. And that's all you need to do. Get your vote registered. And hopefully, the other cool thing is that I hope as people are kind of coming up with ideas, these are going to give, as somebody else might come up with an idea that might give you ideas. Because my goal wasn't really to, create the perfect system for me. My goal is to create the perfect system for you. And so getting your feedback in this process is vital, and I think I'm pretty excited as this product is actually called Beta Easy, and it's a feedback tool. Although Mago is not really in beta anymore, that we're in kind of a stable 1.0 release. This kind of mechanism for getting feedback, I see keeping around for a very long time. I don't, I work every single day, 7 days a week. Even Thanksgiving Day, I spent probably 4 or 5 hours working on Mago, doing some coding, doing some support, things like that. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think I've got really big plans for the direction of Mago, the different things that are coming, different ways that we can specialize this for, for certain markets and things like that. So, I'm going to keep at it. And so getting this feedback is really a big part of that process. A profile photo to our context. Yes, actually, right now in the early test with the data enrichment, it is exactly that. Getting a profile photo pulling in, so you'd actually see that even if you haven't added one. So the goal is to pull that in if we have one, and then you can always overwrite it as well. The idea really comes from, let me see here. There's because a lot of this stuff is available. So yeah, profile photo for the context is absolutely coming. That's a confirmed feature. And by default, if you haven't created one, it's actually going to look on social media. So if you've got the contact's email address, it's going to look on Twitter. It's going to look on LinkedIn. Anywhere they might have a profile photo somewhere else, it's going to pull that in. So that's absolutely coming. But if you throw that into the ideas list, if the votes are really going to from you are really going to prioritize some of these things, because I want to make sure that every minute that I spend right now is going to deliver the maximum amount of value to as many people as possible. So I'd encourage you to throw that in there, vote for it. It is coming though. It's definitely hot on the list. So we got that there. So tags and fields, just kind of talking about that very quickly. We've got one more. So the fields in general, when I'm talking about fields, I'm usually talking specifically about fields in the record itself. So venue name is a field, venue address is a field. We've got the custom fields. We don't have any used here, but if I click edit and scroll down, we've got some of these custom fields, and obviously it's possible to go and rename these as necessary. Tags are really more of a way to group your contacts together. So if we have if we've got some contacts, I'll just pick a test contact here. We can apply tags just to put them in different groups. So different ways that I use tags. I tag different types of clients. So I have corporate clients, I have private clients. I tag people who book a lot of events, people who book single events. Somebody hiring me for a wedding is probably going to just book me for a wedding. I have clients that organize 20, 30, 40 events a year, and so I'm going to market to those people differently. Things like that. People who book events every year. Tags that you get as part of the marketing in Mago in the email broadcast. I mean, obviously we can manage our tags, but there are kind of, I don't want to call them magic tags, but they're kind of automatic tags that do certain things when you're sending an email blast. So you can immediately get certain segments of your database broken up very easily. So you have maybe people who've hired me in the last 12 months, people who have hired me, who've hired me in the past, but not in the last 12 months. Maybe you want to go and reach out to them. People who have asked for a price but have never hired me. Everybody in the database. So these are some of the tags that kind of get automatically maintained. Then the main thing with tags is they become in a lot of cases, all the data in your database is as good as how you use it, how you manage it. So if you're not going and tagging anything, then you're not going to be able to segment your contacts very well. My recommendation and the way that I use tags is I bake it right into my automation. Let me show you what I mean. If I create an automation routine here, or I might already have one. Let's say I'm quoting a birthday party. So you've got this is the routine that goes through that does your birthday party quoting. So it updates the record, fills in your quote information, and then it sends out an email. After a day, it sends an email, a follow-up. After 7 days, it sends a follow-up. After 14 days, it marks it as inactive. And then, maybe if they don't book one day after the show, you just send a happy birthday message. And then in 11 months, you send a follow-up to kind of re-prospect for the next year. So you've automated your sales, you've automated your follow-ups, and you've added a nice little bit of customer service. If they haven't booked you, you still send out an email that says, "Hey, I hope it was a great birthday." And then next year, you're reaching out to them and saying, "Hey, it didn't work out last year. How about this year?" That alone is going to be extremely valuable. But now we can start automatically managing tags in here as well. So as a step, I could go in here, tag the contact, pick the right thing, click tag the contact, click next, and under tags, I might say this is a birthday client. And so I start typing, and I've already created that, so I can just use the same tag. That way it makes that whole process pretty easily. If I wanted to call it something else, some people have birthday moms. By the way, really important thing if you're using tags, this hasn't created the tag yet because you can put spaces in there, because you can come and go. Early tests, people found it problematic that it was assuming that they'd finished typing before they finished typing. So now if you enter a comma, that marks it as a tag. Before you do that, if you just have text here, you don't have a tag. The comma, when it turns blue, that's a tag. So we put those in there, we got our tags, and we run this immediately. So basically, as soon as you run the routine, it's going to apply these tags. And maybe they don't book you. So we go in here and we might create one more tag. Tag contact, didn't book. And we can put that in there, maybe after so many days. If we mark it as inactive after 14 days, for example, I can say in 14 days, apply another tag, didn't book. And then now we're starting to manage the tags automatically. They're starting to I don't have an option to remove the tag, but I think that's a good idea. I mean, I think that's something that we can add in there. But this is how I use tags, and then you can start using them for your electronic or your standard mailings. If you're doing email blasts, you can print labels to everybody, to a certain tag, things like that. These are all coming as part of the new marketing modules that are in development right now. So in the kind of 1.1 release. But I'm quite happy to. What is the limit on leads? What do you mean? Do you mean how many leads you can have in the system? Is it what's the total number that you can have in the system at all? The total number that you can have. Let me think. I think total number of leads you can have is 1,073 billion. I don't know. It's a lot. The gig is for file storage, not for data storage. But when you hit, if you hit trillion leads, that would be kind of amazing. But yeah, what fills up a gig? The gig, the 1 gigabyte quota really only applies to the cloud storage. So if I jump into the and that's actually growing. I don't know if you remember Gmail. If you like all this stuff in here. So right now it's a gig. When I created, it's a gig, but this is growing as well. So it's actually 1.13 gigs right now. But that's just going to keep growing as well. Just like when you're in Gmail, if you use Gmail way back in the beginning, there you got 1 gig of storage. I think now in Gmail it's something like 15 gigs or something like that, or I don't know. It keeps growing, but the same thing here. What you can keep in the file manager keeps growing. So the main thing is the primary purpose to kind of keep all your documents and files organized. You can certainly use it to host files and link to them if you've got like video files, higher res, headshots, stuff like that. You can link directly to these files rather than trying to embed them and getting emails that are too big for a filter. But yeah, no limits on records right now. That's just files in the file manager in the cloud storage. But that is getting us neatly under an hour. A lot of good questions and answers. Really excited to see the direction this whole feedback process takes. I think there's a lot of potential in there, and now that your schedules are starting to slow down as we're getting to we're getting towards the end of the holiday rush. I think there's one good more week of that. I only have maybe 2 shows this side of Christmas beyond where I am right now, where it is unbelievably foggy. So lots of time for us to kind of communicate and get feedback on some of the new features. So really excited to keep this conversation going. Thank you for everybody who jumped on today's webinar. I'm going to keep announcing the webinars in the pop-up as well. I like that idea. The only thing I don't like about it is it pops up once. With this announcement tool that I'm using, it seems like you can show something once or you can show it all the time. And I don't think either are quite adequate. So keep trying to fine tune that and a lot of other things. So keep the ideas flowing into the idea and the idea tool, the idea management tool. I'm going to get somebody to go through because there's a lot of feedback requests in the support, or a lot of feature requests in the support tickets. I'm going to get somebody to go through and add those in there as well. By voting for something, I think you also request to get notifications of when things change, of when there are updates on that, when there's other notifications, and I can in the back end tell you where things are in the process. So you can say, something might be an idea. I can say this is in active development, this has been deployed, et cetera, so you have an idea of where these things are as well. So you get a lot more visibility into the whole process. I've been wanting to build some kind of pipeline that I can share with you for some time, and I think this is going to be a good avenue for it. So let's give this a shot, and hopefully the question and answer thing is going to be really useful as well. As people ask questions, just general how do I type things, then we start having a library of questions and answers that might become useful as well. So we'll keep playing with that. And hey, thank you all for being part of this. This is definitely a team effort. So hey, thank you all. Enjoy your Tuesday, and have a really great weekend here with holiday shows. And I'll see you next week. Take care.